There's one thing that does give me some level of optimism, and maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. Mm-hmm. And I get that fluctuates day to day. Much of Elon Musk's wealth is tied to money he gets from the government. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's just be honest. We are subsidizing Elon Musk's massive wealth as a government, as a taxpayers. He's taking a huge risk.
Yep. Because
if Trump fails and Kamala and the Democrats continue to control federal government contracts, he's going to lose a ton of money. He must know something, right?
Well, he was saying during the interview with Joe Rogan that if Kamala wins, they will shut down X.
We still have, like, some of the boycott is starting to lift. And I think if Trump wins, we'll see, probably most of the boycott lift. But if Kamala wins, we'll see that boycott get stronger. And they'll friggin' shut down. There's no way that the sort of Kamala puppet regime would allow X to exist.
You really think that they'll be able to shut it down, though? Is there a pathway to that?
Yes.
What would they do?
Well, I mean, they can stick the DOJ on and say, like, they've had this whole thing about, like, hate speech, misinformation, whatever, except that they're the ones pushing the misinformation. But that doesn't stop them from filing massive, lawsuits and using the DOJ. I mean, like, the DOJ has, been attacking SpaceX, for example, for not hiring asylum seekers, even though it is legal for SpaceX to hire anyone who is not a permanent resident of the U.S. So
they've already been talking about calling for contracts with, the government and Elon Musk to be ended.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. Again, if you're looking for us on YouTube, I don't know if that's going to exist today or not, so you're going to have to go tell a friend, tell a neighbor, are we good? Okay, we're up. Good job, Nick. Nick fixed the YouTube, so apparently now you'll be able to very soon, if not right now, watch us on the YouTube. And, there it is. Nick is the MVP
of Election Day?
Of Election Day. Apparently now you can watch us on the Kendall and Casey YouTube. So
it is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Finally, a sports betting podcast for real dudes. Not these male Kardashians that you see on television. The Degenerates Next Door Sports Betting Podcast. We do all the homework, we do it for free, and we don't wear skinny jeans.
The Degenerates Next Door. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Download today The Degenerates Next Door.
If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. For service today.
Hey, guys, it's Rob for We Grow Hair Indy. And, it is now November, and that means Christmas season will be here before you know it. And this Christmas season, why don't you do something nice for yourself? And that thing could be getting your confidence back by heading over to We Grow Hair Indy. And boy, I did it several years ago. So glad I did. Here's how it works. You give them a call today, 317-522-2995, 317-522-2995. And you say, I want this totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. Darren and the gang, they're top notch. They'll have you come in. They'll take a look at what's going on with the top of your head, and they'll give you some suggestions. Say, this might work for you. Then you take all the information, you make the choice. And in the meantime, if you want to see other people who made that choice, head over to WeGrowHairIndy.com. WeGrowHairIndy.com. See for yourself, and then you call today for that free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. 317-522-2995. WeGrowHairIndy.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way, with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lung cancer care.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hi, I'm Commissioner Kenneth Allen, and I'm asking for your support to be re-elected to the Indianapolis Public School Board. As the current Vice President, I've worked tirelessly to improve our schools, advocate for our teachers, and ensure that every student has the resources they need to succeed. Together, we've made significant progress in academic achievement and equity, but there's more work to do. Let's keep building a brighter future for our children. Vote for me, Kenneth Allen, for a stronger, better IPS.
Paid for and authorized by Kenneth Allen for IPS School Board at large. Let's keep building a brighter future for our children.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Dropping temperatures? B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical has you covered. Visit bplusw.com/radio today. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man.
This Megyn Kelly thing tickles me to no end.
It does?
Well, it's Kendall and Casey show. That's Casey. I'm Rob. By the way, yes, thanks to Nick's hard work, we are up on the YouTube again. You can now watch us on Election Day. Okay, so Megyn Kelly went to the Trump rally last night. One of them, is that correct?
One of them. Not the last one, but the second to last one.
Okay, so this humors me to no end because he and her, that's some great grammar, right? He and her, they hated each other in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
She was a part of one of the funniest Trump things ever, where she's the moderator, like the primary, where there was 10 million people running. She was one of the moderators, I think, in the first debate. They go at it, and then Trump gets asked. Man, I hope Trump wins, because if Trump loses today, then we are done with some of the greatest ability to entertain that I have ever seen, not just in politics, but period. So Trump gets asked about her, going at him in the debate, and Trump has this ability to say hyper offensive things, but he'll say them in a way where you're like, that's so funny, I can't even be offended by it. So Trump gets asked about it after the first debate, and he says something to the effect of, yeah, I don't know about all that. She was bleeding from her eye or whatever.
Right?
Everybody knows exactly what he was saying. I told you this years ago that one of my radio mentors taught me very early on. You can say anything in whatever tone you want if a listener calls you, as long as you say the right thing. And then when they call management and complain, like you can say, have a nice day in the most sarcastic way possible. But when they would call management and management would say, well, what did Rob say to you? He said to have a nice day. And it's like Trump, yeah, she was bleeding badly from her eye or whatever. Like what possible reason would somebody be bleeding badly from their eye? Everybody knows what he was saying, but yet if you repeat it back, Trump was so offensive towards Megyn Kelly. What did he say? He said she was bleeding badly from her eye or whatever. And I just love that was the start of Trump being able to get away with and say the most ridiculous things, and yet it was so darn funny that people just baked it in and were like, oh, it's just wacky Uncle Trump being Trump, and that's great. And the fact is, she ended up campaigning for him.
Yes, at the very last minute. Now, she's a force to be reckoned with, right? Proving that she's got a lot of courage, because after everything that she went to, leaving Fox and starting her own thing, or is it more of a statement that Donald Trump can bring people back in his circle no matter what happens?
It's a marvelously wonderful ability. How about that for some description? A marvelously wonderful ability of Trump to be able to say just about anything about anybody, and then, I mean, look like Nikki Haley was out campaigning with him. I mean, and look, good on her. I'm saying this as she's a better person than I am, because
you would hold that grudge.
Oh, Casey. Hi, I'm Rob Kendall. Have we met? Right? I mean,
forever and ever. Well, it is a good message for him, because it's somebody who was once very critical of Donald Trump, and then there she was on the stage endorsing him. Now, I think she had another reason why she wanted to be there, and that was to stick it to Mark Cuban.
Then he dropped a bunch of F-bombs, and I thought, I really enjoy this feeling of proving Mark Cuban wrong. And so here I am at a Trump rally, a strong, intelligent woman to prove Mark Cuban wrong again.
She went on to list all the reasons why she was voting for Donald Trump. It wasn't a very long speech, but it was very conversational.
Well, I mean, look, somebody like that, what is their job, right? Like, they bring media attention to the thing. We're talking about it. How many votes did Megyn Kelly actually sway yesterday? I don't know. Look, Megyn Kelly's one of the smartest people I've ever met, women or anything, because she got paid like $20 million a year to not work for a long time.
Right.
So, I mean, if you remember, she was at Fox. She was the golden goose. And then she signs this huge deal with NBC. Everybody with an ounce of common sense is like,
that's not going to work out.
And it didn't, but she got paid to go home. And I promise you, Casey, if Urban One offered me $20 million to not come to work, I know it'd break the heart of Kurt Darling, but y'all would never see me ever again. And I would just...
That's what it takes, $20 million?
I mean, I'd sell out for less than that.
Celebrate good times, come on.
We'd all be celebrating. You wouldn't have to see me, and I'd have $20 million. And that woman figured out how to get paid $20 million to not work. So, yeah, she is strong, she is independent, and she's friggin' brilliant, because she made a crap ton of money, because it was multi-year, like whatever. She had a 3 or 4 year deal or whatever, and they just paid her to sit at home.
Yep. And so she just started her own business with all that money.
Yeah.
All right, Kurt Darling's up next with your news update on 93 WIBC.
Hey folks, Hunter Smith here. I spent every fall from my childhood until my days in the NFL on the gridiron. Football gave me the chance to attend Notre Dame and go on to win a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts. Football also taught me life lessons about hard work and toughness. This fall looks a little different. I'm not on the field. I'm running to represent you at the State House. And I'm taking hits from opponents. Hits meant to mislead you about my values and priorities. I'm tough enough to take it, and I trust voters are smart enough to know the truth.
Hunter Smith is a husband, father, and local business owner of Wonder Tree Farm. At the State House, Hunter will work to lower property taxes without impacting priorities like public safety. The Indiana State Police Alliance and Fraternal Order of Police endorse Hunter Smith, and Hunter will always empower parents to choose the best education for their kids. Vote Hunter Smith for state representative.
Paid for by Hunter Smith for Indiana.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's Election Day in America. It's 67 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. The campaigning is done. Time for you to vote. Fox's Brooke Singman.
Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris made their final pitches to voters as they closed out their campaigns in battleground states. And it was 2 very different days on the campaign trail. Trump was out rallying voters until 2 a.m. after his final stop in Michigan. And he also picked up a last-minute endorsement from podcaster Joe Rogan. Today, former President Trump is spending Election Day in Florida, and Vice President Harris is spending the day at the Naval Observatory in Washington, D.C. Brooke Singman, Fox News.
Polls have started to open all across the country. In fact, they have been open for several hours. Closing time will vary depending on location, while Hawaii and Alaska will stay open at the latest until about midnight Eastern time. The polls close at 6 o'clock here in Indiana. The most expensive U.S. strike in a quarter century is over. Workers with the International Association of Machinists Union voted Monday to accept Boeing's latest offer. The move came after two previous rejections and was approved by 59%. It'll give workers a 43% raise over the next 4 years. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. With the pending election results, stocks are increasing, at least for now. The Dow is up 20 to 41,976. The NASDAQ up 52 to 20,138. And the S&P 500 is up 7.5 to 5,750. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
In sports, only one team walks away with the W.
Only one team gets the trophy.
And only one player is named MVP.
But that doesn't mean everyone else who competed leaves empty-handed. I'm Allie Ward from Boonville High School.
And I'm Caleb Ferguson from Columbus North High School. In education-based athletics, no matter who comes out on top, every student-athlete walks away having grown as a person.
Every team walks away learning invaluable life lessons.
From responsibility to collaboration to integrity.
We're thankful to have coaches and mentors who always prioritize learning and growing over winning at all costs.
They're helping us build a mentality of development that will benefit us for the rest of our lives.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty. Be a champion of high school sports and the growth mindset they develop by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events. This is keeping education in front of athletics. This is the second classroom. This is your IHSAA.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Nobody likes a cold shower. LD Smith has hot deals on water heaters. Save up to $300 on a new water heater install.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Well, Casey.
What's that, Rob?
The data is starting to roll in, and it looks like the media was full of crap in this state.
What do you mean the media was full of crap?
Well, we have talked about the media and it's primarily around this city. Mm-hmm. And it's not every media outlet. Like, I still think, I think the opinion pieces for our friends at Capitol Chronicle are very liberal. I think their actual news reporting is usually very fair and down the middle, and I think they probably, in terms of straight news, do the best job now in this city of reporting Indiana politics and government. And I was actually texting back and forth with Nikki Kelly the other day, and we were talking about some of this stuff of people who aren't as fair as them and some of the shenanigans that have been pulled. And then we were talking about, hey, she was like, hey, I'm very excited. Session's right around the corner. Can't wait to come back on again. But there have been some really disappointing garbage put out by people in this city who come tomorrow are going to look like complete morons about how Democrats have been doing and about how they're about to do on Election Day. And the data continues to roll in confirming this. And here is what the early voting looks like in Indiana. Now, you have heard, I have heard from people on the ground that in rural Indiana, lines continue to be out the door. A lot of these rural counties, while they don't have it in the magnitude of votes of a Marion County or a Allen County or Lake County, but the voter enthusiasm is off the charts. And so all of the huffing and puffing, especially from like the Indy Star is a great example of running all these editorials about how much Micah Beckwith sucks and how there's momentum for the Democrats. Well, it was interesting last night, Casey, the narrative very quickly shifted from Democrats could win to maybe Democrats will win Hamilton County.
This is interesting because at 5:30 this morning, James Briggs put out an opinion piece, and it says, my final election thoughts as we anxiously await results.
Now, wait, time out. Now, just the other day, he put a thing out about the vibes of the Democrats.
Vibes, right.
And by the way, the vibes.
Is that a policy?
The vibes were based on, this is how in the tank, the media, and it was more than just Indy Star. Other people were doing this too. And we're going to name names tomorrow when the election results come in, because according to some people in the media, the vibes are based on 200-ish people showing up in New Albany because the Democrats brought Andy Beshear, who's the sitting governor of the next state over, who he basically walked across the street and ended up in New Albany, and because they got 200 people-ish at this event that Andy Beshear was at. Oh my gosh, the Democrats, they're on fire.
The vibes. Okay, well, here is a direct quote from this opinion piece in the Indy Star from James Briggs. It would take a major force to push Democrats over the top in this cycle and elect Jennifer McCormick governor or Destiny Wells attorney general.
Boy, no fill in a word there I can't say on these airwaves. But that hasn't been the narrative. And this is why people get upset with polling, right? Isn't it amazing how the polling tightens right before the election because some of these people want to try to be right. It's the same thing here. All we've heard about is, Destiny Wells, they love her in these blue-wing suburban counties, and it's really going to be different this time. And Jennifer McCormick, she's got momentum, and everyone hates Micah Beckwith. Let's talk about the actual votes that were cast in early voting.
Let me just tell you one last thing that he says about Michael Beckwith.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a Richard Murdoch moment.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Abdul said, now wait a second. So that's Briggs. And by the way, we like Briggs. And
I know. He's a nice person.
He's been on our show.
We don't agree with him politically.
But I think Briggs actually at least owns up and fesses up to a lot of his views. And, look, he's very liberal in his views. His straight reporting is oftentimes fabulous, like with the Thomas Carl Cook stuff. But like Abdul tried to say that Micah Beckwith's 12-year-old 2 bills that he owed and paid once he was notified, he tried to equate that to a Murdoch moment. Wasn't that Abdul's title of the piece, right? I think I may have found my Murdoch moment.
Right.
And it was 2 bills that Micah Beckwith owed 12 years ago related to a business that he paid in full. And so here's the stats. Here's the statistics on early voting across the state of Indiana, and we'll compare it. Because blue wave, right? Like all the Democrats, abortion. The Jennifer McCormick and Destiny Wells, they have totally tapped in to the pulse of the state with their on-demand abortion advocacy, right? Because remember, McCormick, this Ball State survey shows everybody wants abortion. Everybody wants abortion legal in most or all cases, right? And the media got their marching orders and lined up behind this, despite the fact that Republicans have supermajorities in the House and Senate. Republicans had voted on the abortion law in 2022 and then were continue to be rewarded with supermajorities in the House and Senate. All right, so thus far of the early voting, 56.2% or 797,765. 797. What is it? Oh my gosh, Casey.
797,000.
797. Oh my gosh, like my brain. You ever do that where your brain is like hitting a wall and it's like, what?
You've got a lot of stats in front of you.
797,000. Yes, 765 voters voted Republican. So that's 56.2%. Compare that to 482,000 Democrat, which is 34%. So Republicans outnumber Democrats. Republican primary voters outnumber Democrat primary voters by 22%.
Yeah.
That means you would have to pull off hundreds of thousands of early voters. Keep in mind, and these are the people who tend to skew more Democrat. Hundreds of thousands of people would have to have crossed over based on where their primary affiliation is. Now let's compare that to 2020. In 2020, there was 601,673, or 32.8%. So the Democrats have improved their early voting compared to 2020 by percentage by a whopping 1.2%.
1.2%. And think about how much money has been spent.
But wait, Casey.
Yeah.
Now, I know on the tip of your tongue is, how did the Republicans do? Well, the Republicans in 2020 early voted at a rate of 52.6% of the early votes cast. That means the Republicans, by early vote percentage, have improved by 3.5%. They have beaten the Democrats. And my point of all of this is, there was not a shred of actual voting evidence, not a shred of actual voting evidence that would show any honest broker, and the media knows or should know how to look at data and say, oh my gosh, these people are just pouring out for Democrats. And yet, up until yesterday, they kept this narrative going that somehow the Democrats were in the ball game, that there was this huge support for McCormick, that abortion, despite every poll, honest, independent poll, showing that abortion was not an issue, oh, that's going to drive people. I mean, these people are full of crap. They're all going to have egg on their face tomorrow, and our job tomorrow is to call all of these people out who pulled this crap for weeks and months on end on the people of this state.
So we've gone from the vibes across the state to now Hamilton County.
Yeah, that was their thing this morning was the Democrats. They might win. They might win Hamilton County.
Hamilton County.
They might win. They might, but they're running statewide. This was the Destiny Wells thing in 2022. She won Carmel. Yeah, but she's not running for mayor of Carmel. She's running to be in this case, that was Secretary of State. And you got smoked by one boob in Diego Morales. And now you're also not running for the mayor of Carmel again. You're running to be the Attorney General of the state of Indiana, and you're about to get smoked by another boob in Todd Rokita. And Destiny Wells, let me again say this, because I know she will hear this or we'll get back to her. You were such a horrific candidate. Your extremist lust for on-demand abortion was so egregious that it led me to feel I had to vote for Todd Rokita. And I cast that vote despising Todd Rokita, and knowing that he is likely to face some sort of action again from the disciplinary commission. But you and your extremism left me no choice but to vote for someone that I cannot stand.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, by all accounts, early voting in the great state of Indiana has increased the lead of Republicans.
Republican primary voters are casting a greater percent of early votes in 2024 than they were in 2020. And it would take a tidal wave of Republican primary voters who are going to vote for Trump and are going to vote for Banks and are going to vote for Rokita to get there and go, nah, I'm voting for McCormick.
Yeah.
Nobody believes that's going to happen. And so we want to wait. We're going to wait until the data comes in tonight. And then we're going to name some names and call people out for their bull crap tomorrow.
Okay, and what time will it come in tonight? Indiana results. Let's talk about that. In 2016, the Associated Press called it for Trump at 6:59 p.m. In 2020, the Associated Press called it for Trump at 8:52 p.m. So a little bit later. But many people say, well, you know what? They always call Indiana first. It's always the first red state to come rolling in. The later they call it seems to be the worse it will be for Donald Trump.
Well, this is why people were up in arms in 2020, because how are you calling Arizona right away? And then Indiana, you need more what? You need more data, right? So they will call it at 7 o'clock, if they're honest, because they will wait until the polls close in the central time zone.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only question is, how much will Mike Braun win by? I talked to someone last night who has pretty good access to information, and I would not. Now, I had said 5 to 8. I'll stand by that. But I talked to someone last night with pretty good information. No, it was not Micah Beckwith, who told me there is a strong likelihood Braun will end up winning by double digits.
Okay, well, by saying that, you don't mean to discourage anybody.
No,
from
everybody
going
go
out.
vote.
Yeah,
Punish these Democrats. Punish these people in the media. You stay in line, you go vote, you run the score up to tell these disingenuous carnival barkers in the media who couldn't apparently, after all these years in journalism, look at basic data points and see the truth, who tried to manipulate you into believing something that wasn't going to happen. You go vote, and you tell those people so that we can tell them tomorrow where to stick it.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
3:06 this afternoon on the Hammer and Nigel show. This is it. Election Day in America. All the coverage you can handle until 7 o'clock. It's the Hammer and Nigel show, 93 WIBC.
Holidays will be here before we know it. Maybe you've already started shopping for someone on your list. AAA Hoosier Motor Club inviting you to join them, help make sure some local kids in need get gifts through the Toys for Tots program. AAA giving you the chance to send a holiday message of hope to Central Indy's less fortunate kids.
And as a thank you for donating to Toys for Tots, current AAA members will receive 25% off any merchandise in the travel store, or adding someone to your AAA membership featuring their fabulous 24/7, 365 days a year roadside assistance for just $25. And non-members who donate will have the opportunity for early access to a special holiday offer, a classic AAA membership for just $50. Help local children in need this holiday season and secure your peace of mind with a AAA membership. Donate to Toys for Tots at AAA. Visit AAA.com or find the AAA store near you.
Mortgage rates are down and creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. Maximize your home sale now with the market expert who delivers maximum money in less time, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Ray in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietl. I needed to move in a hurry, so I was out the door into a new home, but left with the big problem of selling my old home with 2 mortgage payments fast approaching. I heard Mark Dietl was the answer, and I heard right. I was ecstatic when Mark sold my home for the price I needed in 2 days on the market. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Hey, it's Rob from my friends at Universal Windows Direct. As we head into winter, you don't want to be stuck with old, drafty windows making your heating system work overtime. Universal Windows Direct is here to keep you warm and save you money on those energy bills with their exclusive Super Spacer technology. technology. Now, listen to this going on right now. For every 2 windows you buy from Universal Windows Direct, you're going to get the next 2 free. There's no limit. Buy 2, get 2, buy 4, get 4, buy 20, get 20. You can do math. And on top of that, Universal Windows Direct is offering 0% financing for 60 months. Yeah, that's right. 5 years interest-free. Now, some restrictions apply. So you got to call today to get all the information from Universal Windows Direct at 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. Universal Windows Direct backs their windows up with a true lifetime warranty. That means your windows are covered for as long as you own the home. And if you ever decide to sell, the warranty transfers to the next homeowner for 20 years. Call Universal Windows Direct today. Get all the information. 317-659-7574. Tell them Rob sent you.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell & Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Indianapolis area attorneys. 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1250, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104,200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75,300. See dealer for complete details.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
I saw somebody post this yesterday, and they said, got a gut feeling Trump's going to win in a blue state that no one even thought was in play. And we talked about this yesterday, how they made a trip to Virginia and then also to New Hampshire. And I have a sister-in-law and a brother who live in Virginia, so I wanted to get their impression. So I texted them, and I got this reply. I don't think Trump is going to win Virginia, unfortunately. We early voted on Saturday, and we felt a little bit like which one of these don't belong.
Yeah. Well, so this is what's interesting, right? We said there's a couple of different things that could be at play. And if you watch candidates and how they operate, it will generally tell you a lot. And Trump and Vance both made decisions to go to New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. Now, I haven't seen any statistical data that shows New Hampshire is in play, but they chose to go there, which tells you either A, they feel confident enough in one of those blue states that they felt they could take time and resources and try to expand the map, or they feel confident in none of those blue states and they felt they had to get New Hampshire. However, Trump can't win the presidency without one of those blue firewall states. New Hampshire doesn't have enough electoral votes to get you across the finish line. Like if you lost Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, but you won New Hampshire, he still wouldn't get to the presidency. He's got to get one of the 3 blue states. So I don't totally understand that. Obviously, there's a rhyme and a reason to it. You probably won't know until after the election, but generally you can tell based on how people behave how they think they're doing.
Tony Katz, producer Carl, and I got in this conversation about Virginia, and he was saying, rural parts of Virginia probably will go for Trump. Yeah, but you got to consider Nova, Northern Virginia. That's where all of the people who work in Washington, D.C. live. And when Trump and Elon Musk are saying, oh, we're going to cut the government accountability, 80,000 people are going to be without jobs. Well, that's the majority of people who live in Nova. They're probably not going to vote for someone who's saying, I'm going to cut your employment.
Well, and here, one of the things we talked about, like with Braun, there was never a doubt in my mind Braun is going to be the governor. What I've told our audience, because we're honest brokers with our audience, and I've said this many, many times, Braun is not my favorite politician. If you were to have picked, clearly I did not vote for him in the primary. There's other people I would have picked. However, it's like you have what you have in front of you. And the reality is, if you want your property taxes fixed, Mike Braun is your only game in town to get that done. You have to have him not only as governor, but you have to have a strong win for Braun and Micah so that they can enter into that saying, see, we won, we ran on this, we need to get this done. And it also gives, now there's still a ton of work to be done. Just because he wins doesn't mean that's going to happen. It's going to take engagement by all of us, but it's the first step in the process, right? And that's what I've told people as an honest broker is you play the cards that are in front of you. He is the card in front of you. He said he wants to do it. He said he wants the show to be a part of that equation. He really can't walk that back now. And by the way, think of the show fun we're going to have the next 4 years with old Uncle Fester Rob Kendall being able to hang out at that State House. I mean, think about how fun that's going to be.
Doing a
right?
live broadcast by the pig.
If for no other reason, just do it for the show. I mean, that's going to be, think of all those people we're going to be able to make totally miserable because, well, we're all buddies now, right? We can't, you can't walk that one back. So come on, do it for the show if for nothing else.
So in Indiana, most major polls have shown Trump with a 15-point lead or higher in 2020. He won by 16 points. Chuck Todd saying that Nevada will take a week to count all the votes.
That's ridiculous.
So why are we normalizing election victories that are conducted through lawyers instead of actual voters?
Hey, Kurt Darling's next with the news, and he's like, Kurt is a good guy, but he was like, hey, let's make Rob miserable. He's like, hey, did you hear Fort Wayne got a soccer stadium?
Oh.
Is that true? Is that a thing?
It is true, yes.
Is that a taxpayer-funded thing?
No.
Oh.
And it's just for soccer.
Well, that's not too bad. I don't care what rich people do with their money. I care what they do with my money.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Have you heard about this guy, Donald Rainwater?
I sure have. Guy was a deadbeat dad. Total loser. Not only did Rainwater repeatedly fail to pay his child support, he filed for bankruptcy and had his car repossessed. But what did a court find he spent the money on? Cigarettes.
Hasn't he run for office twice before and lost each time?
Sure has. Maybe that's why he wants the job, so taxpayers pay off all his debts.
But there's someone even worse than Rainwater. This Jennifer McCormick character is a really out there liberal.
Yeah, she's a pro-Biden and pro-Kamala liberal. She opposed school choice, she supports boys in the girls' locker room, and did you hear what she said about Hillary Clinton?
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
She had some great, world foreign experience. So I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
Jennifer McCormick, she's hopelessly liberal.
I'm not voting for Rainwater or McCormick. They're both losers in my book.
Paid for by Indiana Republican State Committee, Inc.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority, so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
Attorney General Todd Rokita is fighting to protect Hoosiers. That's why the Indiana State Police Alliance has endorsed Todd Rokita for re-election. They know Todd Rokita is protecting our jobs, protecting us from crime, and working to end illegal immigration, always putting Hoosiers first. Attorney General Todd Rokita is fighting to protect Hoosiers.
Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Coming up in 2 minutes, they gave you a final push yesterday as you go and vote today. Plus, Donnie Burgess reports on what was said in the Delphi murders trial on Monday. And this Indiana city is getting a soccer stadium. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
The polls are open just about everywhere. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, in 46 states now.
I certainly hope you vote for Donald J. Trump today. I think that his policies are going to promote peace and prosperity for our citizens.
Trump running mate J.D. Vance after casting his vote in Ohio a short time ago.
If you vote the wrong way, in my view, I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to treat you as a fellow citizen. And if I am lucky enough to be your vice president, I'm going to fight hard for your dreams and for your family.
The former president will vote later in Florida after the final Trump rally after midnight in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Vice President Harris held her last rally late last night in Philadelphia.
Our campaign has tapped into the ambitions and the aspirations and the dreams of the American people. We are optimistic.
She already voted early, like more than 82 million Americans. But for those who waited,
there were huge lines, about 150 to 200 people in line waiting for the doors to open at 7 a.m.
That's Fox's Brian Yanis in Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
This is a 50-50 kind of a county. It's a suburb of Philadelphia, but Republicans are starting to feel good here because they outnumber registered Democrats for the first time, and that's a big deal. But it all comes down to turnout.
Pennsylvania is one of the battleground toss-up states key to who is elected president, and so is Wisconsin, where there's also a close Senate race. Republican Eric Hovde tells Fox,
I'm feeling great. The energy and the momentum is clearly on our side. It's time for change.
He is trying to unseat Democrat Tammy Baldwin, one of several Senate seats the GOP hopes to flip to take control of the Senate in the next Congress, while in the House, Democrats hope to flip 6 seats at least to win the majority there. Fox News Radio will have special live coverage of the results tonight starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. Check for updates on that on this station or at foxnewsradio.com. More death and destruction in Gaza. An Israeli airstrike hit a house. Palestinian officials say children among the at least 20 people killed. Israel says it was targeting Hamas weapon storage and took steps to mitigate the risk to civilians. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Making one last push. The radar is clear, 67 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Democrat Jennifer McCormick says that she's confident in the campaign for governor that she's run, saying that they plan to pull a lot of Republican voters in her direction.
There's a lot of people who are feeling that urgency and they're ready to go. So we are really excited about getting it done on Election Day.
Talking to Wish TV. Meanwhile, Republican Mike Braun finished a tour of 12 counties from over the weekend on Monday. The polls are closing at 6 p.m. local time tonight. The jury in the Delphi murders trial finally heard from some of Richard Allen's family. Donnie Burgess reports.
You may have heard Richard Allen not only confess to killing Abby and Libby, but also made random statements about molesting his sister and daughter. Both were called to testify Monday and confirmed Allen had never touched them and that they wouldn't lie for him. Allen's daughter also stated she does indeed love her father. The defense is still trying to poke holes in the state's murder timeline and distance Allen from the crime scene. Again, no DNA has ever connected him to the killings of Abby and Libby. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
No school for kids in Elwood, at least until Wednesday. The school district saying that a computer network disruption is the reason. Staff can't access some buildings, phones, or even the air conditioning. They're not saying if it was a cyber attack or not. Fort Wayne is getting a soccer stadium. Mark Music, who owns Ruoff Mortgage and Fort Wayne FC, announcing finalized plans for a 7,500-seat soccer-specific stadium to be completed for his soccer club by 2026. Women's college basketball tipping off for the first time last night. Number 25, Indiana beating Brown 82-60, but head coach Terry Moran not pleased with the effort.
We just did a lot of undisciplined things that are not characteristic of our basketball team, and so I'm disappointed.
As for number 6, Notre Dame, they pummeled Mercyhurst 105-61. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com.
Here is Jiffy Lube of Indiana's COO, Lonnie Hinkle.
Lots of Hoosiers belong to unlimited car wash programs because they want their car to look great. At Jiffy Lube, we're here to help you make sure your car runs great. So to help take care of your car inside and out, Jiffy Lube is offering everyone who belongs to a monthly car wash program a $20 discount and a free tire rotation from now through the end of the year. Just point out your car wash sticker and we'll do the rest. My Jiffy Lube teams are maintenance experts. Our computer system provides all of the manufacturer's maintenance recommendations for every make and model of vehicle, so we know exactly what every car needs to operate at its best. Jiffy Lube is your trusted one-stop shop for all that your car needs to run well for many years. You never need an appointment, and we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores. So stop in on your way to the car wash, save $20, plus get a free tire rotation just for belonging to a monthly car wash program.
Jiffy Lube. Nobody does it better.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning and happy Election Day. It is Tuesday, November 5th. It's 5 minutes after 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. So it was the 11th hour campaign stops for all of the candidates running to be your next governor. Of course, Mike Braun completed a tour of 12 counties throughout the state over the last few days. He was met with a lot of voters trying to sway them to vote for him. He said that he is pleased with how his campaign has gone. He put out on social media just hours ago, he started a business in his hometown and grew it to employ thousands of Hoosiers. As governor, I'll get to work lowering prices on gas, groceries, and health care. And then he says, I'll cut property taxes and improve our schools with parents in charge.
Yeah, those are the two things, right? I mean, we said my two issues with this are the property taxes and the universal school choice. And I was told by a reliable source they're going to bring the partisan school board bill back again this year. Now, whether that gets a hearing or not, whether that actually moves, I don't know, but they're going to bring that back. And those are the two things. If you want to fix public education in this state, get the public education system in line, the two things you can do, number one, universal school choice where the money follows the kid, and two, partisan school board races. So we'll see what happens with that. But the other side of it is property taxes. Now, because we are not homers for anyone, nor are we professional cheerleaders. We're honest brokers with you. Did you know we're number one, Casey?
I heard that. Congratulations to our audience.
We don't hear anymore, nobody listens. We used to hear that all the time. That's really just gone away.
That changed, didn't it?
The whole radio station is number one. I think we're the only talk radio station in America, certainly in a market of any size, who can say they're the number one station by market share. That is you, our audience, and you're showing up in droves to vote today. But we are number one, both our show and this station, because we're honest brokers with our audience. And the reality is, Kev and I were talking about this during the break, Braun's not a great candidate. Braun is the best choice of the three that are in front of us, but he hasn't run a great campaign. He's not a great candidate, and he had two things really working for him. Number one is that he has Donald Trump at the top of the ticket. Donald Trump being at the top of the ticket. If it were Romney or if it had been somebody like Nikki Haley, that would have been not good for Braun. But there's such enthusiasm for people to go vote for Trump. The natural inclination is going to be that they're going to vote Republican down the rest of the ballot. And in straight voting alone, they're going to start with a massive, massive lead. That's the first thing. The second thing that he has going for him is that Donald Rainwater was such a bad candidate this time around. If Rainwater had been able to harness fundraising or certainly a coherent message on something like property taxes that he could have rallied around, there would have been a lot of people who might not have gone back to the Republican Party. But Don didn't do any of the basics, and he didn't have the money that he had last time, and so that was kind of a non-issue. So he had a couple things, Braun did a couple things going for him that really, really helped him kind of sure up the base.
Well, I said even before the statewide convention, I think that the Braun and Beckwith has a nice ring to it. I did. And, you say Braun wasn't a great candidate. I don't think he ran a great campaign. As a candidate, I think he's pretty smart. If you've ever watched him hammer away during the congressional budget meetings, he does a very decent job. That is way inside politics, and the average person is, I don't think, going to go that deep. So it's that surface level stuff that he really had to work at just to convince normal, regular people who aren't way into politics.
You see this, and Kev, you're a musician, so you'll appreciate this. You see this a lot of times with people who are uber successful. Like we talk about this with Elon Musk, clearly a brilliant guy, one of the smartest people in the world, entrepreneurial skills off the charts. When you see him in person, though, you're always like, that's not all that impressive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's just like, he's just kind of, when he speaks, you're like, oh, wow, well, you must be really good at paperwork because your oratory skills are not great. But Kev, you'll appreciate this from music because you see this in music. Sometimes the artists who sell the most albums or who do the best on tour aren't necessarily the artists that make the best music, but they connect. Mm-hmm. They're able to connect with the audience, right?
They've got a good packaged product for the audience.
Like, look at Taylor Swift. One of the things Taylor Swift does phenomenally well is she connects with each of these little lunatics that paid thousands of dollars to go see her, right? She is great at that. I saw some video. She's bringing some Swiftie up on stage with her, and they're interacting, and it's clearly a part of the show. But she does that very well. You compare and contrast that to, say, like a Guns N' Roses, right? Phenomenally talented, but Axl Rose is a phenomenal jerk, or a John Mellencamp who is a phenomenal jerk, and they don't connect, and thus they don't. My point in all of this is, I'm not saying Mike Braun is a colossal jerk. What I'm saying is sometimes very wealthy, successful people who are good or would be good at the thing struggle to connect on a personal level because either they're so focused on the thing that they've always done or whatever. And I think Braun has struggled mightily this election cycle to personally connect with voters and say, I'm doing this because right?
And that is an area that Micah Beckwith excels at.
Bingo. And
connecting with people.
I don't know if he meant to do it or not. Of course, he then tried to backpedal out of it. But Abdul, when he was on our show Wednesday, said Micah Beckwith helped Mike Braun.
Correct.
100%, without debate, without discussion.
He's approachable.
He is.
He's likable. You can have a conversation with him.
And it doesn't matter what Indy Star says because the Republican base voter is not an Indy Star reader. So Briggs and those guys can write a million editorials, and Doyle and whoever else can write a million editorials a day about how bad Micah Beckwith is. You're not moving any needles. When Micah Beckwith goes out and talks about the idea of saying that we have lost our way in society, that the idea that men can play women's sports and we're supposed to accept that as normal. That's why the Danny Lopez guy is going to win. Like the Star and these other people wanted to make this Danny Lopez ad about transgender sports, against transgender sports, some sort of gotcha thing. It's like, it's not that. Not with the voter base. Because even Democrats, the polling amongst even Democrats shows, yeah, that's weird that people with penises are playing women's sports. Like it's not a normal thing. And the problem with the left is they keep pushing the envelope. And people may be for abortion in some instances, right? Like, I don't dispute that. I don't dispute that the society is not as pro-life as I am. But they don't believe at 9 months you should be able to suck the brains out of a defenseless fetus. And Jennifer McCormick and Destiny Wells do believe that. And, I think Briggs even admitted that in that editorial he wrote about the feud between me and Destiny Wells, that by your extremism because of your base and your fear of alienating your base, you then allow me to define what your issue is, not because I'm making it up, but because you are beholden to these people and will not push back. And if society has to make the choice between pro-life or on-demand abortion advocacy, which the Democrats force people into that position, they're going to choose pro-life, and that's why these Republicans keep getting elected.
So Mike Braun said that he's really looking forward to seeing how the kitchen table issues campaign that they've run resonates throughout the state. Of course, we're all looking very forward to that. Todd Rokita was actually working the polls last night.
Here's the thing about Rokita, and there's a couple things. One, Rokita, I actually respect Rokita because Rokita was approached. I know I told this story before, but Rokita was approached a while back. We have a mutual friend, and they came to him, and they were like, hey, Rob, as you know, Rob really, really has an issue with Destiny Wells and this on-demand abortion stuff. I think if you guys could just get in a room and maybe hammer this
Hash it out.
then maybe he might publicly support you. And Rokita, to his credit, just looked right at the guy. He's like, I don't want his support.
Yeah, I
and
don't
it's
care.
just like, I have
care.
infinite respect for that. That dude was like, I'd rather lose than have that guy's support. But Rokita's a great campaigner. It's why, other than when he turned into a complete lunatic during that U.S. Senate race, which I have no idea why he did it, he wins every race he runs. He's a good campaigner. The only time he did not campaign well was when he tried to be Donald Trump in that 2018 Senate race, and he lost. If he'd have been a normal guy, he probably would have won that race because Rokita knows how to win elections. One thing I did want to talk about real quick, and this is a major issue, that if you live in any of these suburban counties, you need to go to your mayors and your city council and ask them what the hell they're doing. Because what they are doing, especially, this is Hamilton County, whether it's Jensen and Noblesville or Fadness and Fishers, obviously there's a new mayor of Carmel, and they're a little bit of a different animal, but this unchecked growth is rapidly changing the dynamics of these counties. And I don't get why these mayors and city councils and town councils in other counties continue to do this unchecked growth when you're clearly now, data is showing you are bringing people in who do not agree with you and want to change.
Right.
They want to fire you, right? So Hamilton County, now again, the Democrats are now, I guess, euphoric that they may win Hamilton County. They're probably not, but let's just give them that. It's gone from we're going to win the statewide elections to we're going
to win Hamilton County.
We might win, and then by the end of the day, it'll be we might win Carmel. In 2020, Democrat early voting in Hamilton County made up 22.1% of the electorate. In 2024, that's 32.8%. That's a huge shift in 4 years. In the midterms, it was 38%. These Soviet block-style apartments that Jensen and the Good Time Fun Gang out there in Noblesville are throwing up like they're going out of style, which are ugly as sin. I have no idea, even if, like, they're aesthetically horrific to look at. I don't get, and if you live in these cities in Hamilton County, you need to be asking why your mayors keep doing this, because they are pushing you as Republican voters. They are pushing you out, right? You would talk about
and it's changing the makeup,
right? The replacement, right? You are, and we've had these people.
You're watching it,
right? Yeah. All right, True Crime Tuesday coming up next.
Yeah, we've got Doug Coons, former FBI agent. We're going to talk about what's going on with the Delphi case.
Yeah, and I know Donnie does a lot of these shows, but we thought it'd be interesting to hear from a law enforcement person. Obviously, Doug Coons, retired FBI agent. He's been a part of many, many big cases. I want to get a law enforcement expert's opinion on how Delphi's being handled.
All right, that's up next from 93 WIBC.
Galloway for a three. Renewed. Throws it up and in, and a foul. For a three, yes. And a Bacco.
Mike Goodson has an exciting roster of veterans, transfers, and freshmen. The Hoosiers begin their pre-conference season against the Southern Illinois Salukis at Assembly Hall tomorrow.
Throws it up, got it!
John Herrick has the pregame at 7. Don Fisher with the tip at 8 on your home for IU basketball. 93 WIBC.
Fall in Indy, and if you hate the paint, do what Judy did. She called Rhino Shield.
After having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating specifically formulated for our unique climate.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
Now get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield is partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield and recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield. Real stories with Helzberg.
I had the ring already. She had made it very clear what kind of ring she wanted. Yep. I pretended that I was going to kneel and picked up a pine cone instead of pulling out a ring.
What a jerk. But when I saw that ring, I was like, oh, he did good.
I really love Amy. I really, really genuinely love Amy.
I love you too.
At Helzberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Helzberg store or helzberg.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Hey, it's Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, it's our 50% off sale. Save 50% off all Smith Brothers, Lazy Boy, Bassett, plus we pay your sales tax, and we even give you more discounts for cash. That's every sofa, recliner, sectional, lift chair, you name it, it's on sale. Now through Monday, only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus with free delivery.
B's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Kendall and Casey present True Crime Tuesday on 93 WIBC.
Casey, it's that time.
It is. It's True Crime Tuesday.
And every Tuesday, we take a look at some case that has captivated the attention of the nation. And in this case, we're going to stay with Delphi. And obviously, many of our shows here use Donnie Burgess, who's regularly in the courtroom reporting. But we're going to get a little different perspective. We're going to get a law enforcement perspective on Delphi because, let's face it, a lot of people have been very critical of how law enforcement, whether it's state police, local law enforcement, the prosecutors themselves, how they've handled this case.
Right. So we're going to turn to Doug Coons. He's a former FBI investigator, and we'll get his perspective on how the investigation went.
Doug, let's start with that. You have obviously watched this case. You're a longtime former FBI agent, very respected. We've talked about many of the cases you've helped be a part of on this program. If you had to give a grade to how law enforcement handled this case, what would you give it?
Oh, geez, that's a tough question. This started when I was still an FBI agent. It was my last year before I retired, and some of my colleagues were involved. I was never involved. I don't have any insider information, but certainly there were some mistakes in a case of this magnitude. There's going to be. You've got multiple agencies working it, hundreds of investigators covering thousands of tips and leads. And I think maybe the biggest problems were in the communications between the agencies and the investigators. The information about the subject having been there, not making it its way to the forefront for years, I think. I feel like is probably the biggest thing. But just the amount of effort and the hours put in and the resources, you still have to be appreciative of the efforts that is now resulting in this action.
Doug Coons is our guest. He's a retired FBI agent. We're talking about the investigation part of Delphi. So, Doug, from your perspective, how often, I mean, look, the prosecution is rested, right? We've seen everything they had to throw out there, and there appears to be zero smoking gun that you would say, here it is, he did it. How often does a case get to trial without any real evidence that the guy did it?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I see what you do on TV, what everybody else does, and I'm like you. I don't see that big smoking gun. Now, we're not privy to everything. We're not sitting there in court and listening to the prosecution and listening to the witnesses and the nuances of their testimony. We're not able to judge their veracity of how they speak and their body language and all these intangible things. So it's easy for us to watch the media and make our judgments, which are really just our opinions. And it's important to let the process work and let the jurors do their things. And they're the ones whose opinions ultimately matter, because we don't put people in jail on probably. They have to be sure. But I'm with you. Based on just what I see on TV, it doesn't look like, there's no DNA evidence. There's no fingerprints. There's no real eyewitness testimony. There's no bloody clothes. There's very little, at least from what we're privy to in the public.
Doug Coons is joining us, former FBI agent. I want to ask you about the confessions of Richard Allen, because he did confess multiple times. In your experience, how often does that happen with somebody who's not guilty?
I don't know about how often it happens, but I do know it does happen. I have had it happen to me before. You're anxious, you're motivated to solve the case, you're interviewing a subject, you use all your interrogation and interview techniques, and I have had people confess to things that they have not done before, and the question as to why, I have no idea. The defense brought up some mental health issues. Perhaps there was some coercion. That I think these confessions are probably the hardest piece of this that the defense would have to overcome. And, there was experts testifying yesterday about his mental health, and, we don't know the details of all that. So hopefully, the jury just gets it right. We just want justice. We don't want to hold just anybody accountable for this. We want to hold the right person accountable.
Doug, how and we were just on with you a week ago or so about, and you talked about, hey, that guy that had in Texas that had tried to assemble the nuclear weapon of mass destruction, and all the effort you guys went in to surveil him and get kind of definitive proof, hey, this guy was going to do this. Can you walk us through what should be, not maybe what happened here, but what should be the standard of law enforcement going to a prosecutor to say, here's what we got. We got enough to try this guy. Like, what sort of standard should there be for that?
Well, that's a really hard question. You're going to prosecute somebody and you're going to put them through hell, whether or not they did it or not, right? And I think you need to be pretty sure that you've got a viable case before you take it to that decision. So all along through this, I've just been hoping they've got something that we don't know about, some ace in the hole that is going to make their case for him. Now, if he's not the right guy, I hope he's not convicted. It's just I have my own reservations about this, and the standard is reasonable doubt, and reasonable is subjective to each of those jurors, and ultimately they're going to have to make up their mind.
What do you make of the inconsistencies in the description of Bridge Guy?
Historically, eyewitness accounts is sketchy, especially when time elapses. People's memories play tricks on them. They watch TV, they see social media, and the way they remember things now is not necessarily the way things actually happened. So it's really not that surprising to me that there's such an inconsistency, between the sketch of first Bridge Guy and second Bridge Guy. That threw us all for a loop because it's clearly a different person. That's a big hurdle that the prosecution is going to have to overcome.
Doug, when you're a witness, because you've testified in many, many court cases, you speak to the jury. Can you walk us through, as a law enforcement official, how your testimony in front of a jury goes? What are you trying to do? Do you talk to them? Do you even acknowledge that they're there? How does that work?
Well, personally, I can only speak personally, but I just try to clear my mind. I listen to the question from the defense or prosecutor. I answer it as honestly and thoroughly as I can. I usually just address whoever has asked the question to me. I don't try to put on any kind of show for the judge or jury.
Do you have any theory about this case?
I mean, I do. I'm not going to express that here. I think part of the problem we have is media and social media, and people see so much stuff and they make opinions, and I don't want to contribute to influencing anyone's mind on the subject. I feel like it's very difficult for a person to get a fair trial in this day and age when everything is shared and there's so much public opinion out there. I'm sure that these jurors, even though they went to a different venue, were well aware of the details of this case. I mean, it was a nationally recognized case, and unless they're living under a rock, they probably have social media. They probably know what the public opinion is, and they're probably under a great deal of pressure in their minds to come to a conclusion.
Doug, we'll get you out of here with this. When you were in court, a case you were involved in, could you get a pretty good idea walking through the case? Okay, we're going to get this guy, or ooh, we may have trouble. Like, could you get an idea? Do you think the prosecution, do you think the defense, do you think they're getting a good idea of how this verdict may come down?
I'll speak just from my personal opinion. I feel like this case has some issues, and it's a coin toss for me right now. I don't feel like it's strong one way or the other.
All right, Doug. You are a great guy to talk to because, man, all those years in the FBI, you give us a different perspective. Thanks for spending a few moments with us talking about how this kind of might have come together and how law enforcement might be viewing this.
Yeah, happy to help. And again, we just hope that justice prevails, and that if he is the right guy, that he's convicted. If he's not, I hope he's not.
And tell us real quick what you do now. You have a pretty interesting job these days.
Sure. I retired in 2018 and started a company called Veracity IIR with another retired FBI agent, Kathy Geiter. And we do primarily private investigations for law firms and businesses and security consulting.
Don't get out of line, Casey.
I know. I was just about to say, I've got someone to investigate you now.
That's right.
Rob.
Doug Coots, thank you, Doug. You're the best. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
You're listening to True Crime Tuesday on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The end of the line. It's cloudy and 68 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:31. With campaigning over, Vice President Harris and former President Trump will spend the day watching results roll in from across the country. Harris will be spending today in Washington, D.C., where her campaign will hold an election night event at her alma mater, Howard University. Meanwhile, former President Trump will be in Florida. He rallied one final time last night.
And I don't want to do that. I'm not looking to do that. I think it's terrible to do, but we have no choice. These are murderers.
He will be hosting a watch party at West Palm Beach Convention Center. The White House says President Biden will be watching from his residence and will receive regular updates. Stephanie White has returned as the head coach of the Indiana Fever. Earlier yesterday, a news conference said that she's looking for nothing but experience.
This is a young roster who gained valuable experience throughout the course of this season. And having playoff experience is so important. You just never know what you don't know.
White says now it's time for her, Caitlin Clark, and the rest of the team to build on that experience for next year. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indie. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indie, is here to tell us more.
The Artist Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indie, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the Artist Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artist FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the Artist Robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndie.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndie.com and grow your hair back today.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. That's 800-948-1659.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Weekend emergency? No problem. They're here for you 7 days a week at B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical. B+W.com/radio to learn more. B&W is your independent American Standard air dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatments at 317-559-PAIN.
Here we go with your Election Day edition of your voicemails, 317-684-8444. And we start off with, we had a conversation about New Hampshire and why Team Trump was visiting New Hampshire. And this guy thinks that he has the answer.
Hi, Rob. Hi, Casey. Rob, you were just talking about why Trump was in New Hampshire because it doesn't help him win at all. If he loses Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, but flips New Hampshire, it puts him at exactly 270 electoral votes and will technically win the election. Bye.
Okay. That's including Nevada and Arizona and Georgia and North Carolina? Or not? He wasn't very specific.
Election map. Yeah, I'm going to look this up because I thought he had to get, maybe that gets him to 268, interactive, Oh, isn't it amazing how the internet knows what you want now? Isn't it amazing that that's where we've come in our societies? I just put interactive and it just said election map. All right, let's see here real quick. So I flipped this. Ooh, the interactive election map has him. Ooh, boy, that's interesting. Okay, let's take this off. And he's at 262.
What are you taking off?
I'm taking Wisconsin off.
Okay.
And I'm giving him that's not accurate. He's only at 266. If he loses the 3 blue wall states, she's still at 272. She could lose New Hampshire. So the only now, if you give him Nevada, okay, let's try that. Oh, yeah. No, he's saying Nevada, right? Okay. I'm giving him Nevada. Okay, now he would be right. If he got everything and New Hampshire, then that would give him 272. Okay, so if he got everything but the blue wall states and he flipped New Hampshire, that would give him 272.
Okay, so there you go. Maybe that's their backup plan. Here's a phone call. This one about we talked earlier about how Joe Rogan came out last night and decided to endorse Donald Trump, and somebody wants to talk about endorsements.
Good morning, Rob and Casey. Happy Election Day from Kennebec, South Dakota. This is Trucker Tony coming at you. And I don't know if it's too late or not, but I would love to put down my endorsement right now for Donald Trump for president. So I don't know if it matters or not, but I'm endorsing Donald Trump. Go get out there and vote. Mm-hmm. And then, Rob, you were having trouble with numbers. I have trouble with numbers myself, my friend. But in the honor of my best friend, Billy Madison, today, Junior. All right, that's enough of the stuff. It's election day. Mm-hmm. Get out and vote.
So his endorsement would mean a lot more if he got on his CB and said that to all of his trucker friends, right? We were talking about provisional ballots, and the United States Supreme Court stepped in, allowing Virginia to remove non-citizens from its voting rolls. And you'd think that that's a bit absurd that the Supreme Court had to get involved in the first place because it's illegal for non-citizens to vote in the United States. But we were also having a conversation about provisional ballots, and here's a call regarding that.
Rob, Casey, Kev, good morning. Love the show. It's Elevator Rich. Hey, just got through voting, was listening to the first segment of your show, and you do realize that Indiana has the same provisional voting thing. When you go into the ballot place, if you don't have your ID, they let you fill out a handwritten provisional ballot. Just making sure you knew that because you were harping on Pennsylvania, which I think all of it's junk. Nobody should have.
Stop. No. That's not what I said at all. I'm talking about somebody mailing in a ballot, which in the state of Indiana, in order to get a ballot, you have to have an excuse on why. You have to, when you mail in the ballot, photocopy your ID. Mm-hmm. That's it. That wasn't even what I said at all. Talking about mail-in voting.
Right.
It's talking about mail-in voting. Indiana has some of the strictest mail-in, as it should be. Mail-in voting should be, I'm incapable of going to the polls, like physically.
Yes.
Or
you have to mark that handicapped or disable.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, what reason? I mean, I'm going to be out of the country or I'm going to be out of the state on election day. Okay, well, then we give you 3 weeks to vote, right? Like, I mean, my favorite thing was that idiot socialist on the city county council here in
Jesse.
Yeah, who was complaining because a bunch of people tried to go like at 9 or 10 o'clock at night on Sunday during the Taylor Swift concert, and they were mad there was a line, and he was trying to act as though they were disenfranchised, and it was like, okay, well, first of all, they could have just stood in the line and they would have been allowed to vote. It wasn't like he was saying, oh, they were denied a right to vote.
Right.
They were mad there was a line and left. You've had 3 weeks to vote. Everybody has a line. It's a state of 7 million people. There's 4.whatever million registered voters. If half of them participate, that's 2 million plus people. Like, oh, you had to stand in line for an hour. Woo! Hope you didn't, injure yourself.
I didn't see a line at the fire station on my way in.
This is a very simple thing. National holiday. You cannot be denied by your employer the right to go vote. You have 24 hours from midnight until midnight. And if you don't do it then it wasn't that important to you. We'll find out who actually cares about voting.
Okay, one last phone call, and this one is about the statewide election and what would happen if Harris won the presidency here in Indiana.
Trust me, the last thing any of us want is a Harris presidency. I don't want a Harris presidency. That's the last thing our country needs, and Tim Walz would be just a disastrous vice president as well. I know, they call him Tampon Tim for a reason. I think we can all agree on that. But I will say this, there will be a positive, and I think that's going to be the statewide elections, because not only are McCormick, Gooden, who went on the apology tour to earn a bunch of endorsements, and who's the other one? Crazy Eyes, as I call her, Crazy Eyes Wells. Not only are they going to lose and lose big, but we're going to have a governor, a lieutenant governor, and an attorney general that I believe strongly, all three of them together are going to be fighting against if heaven forbid it's a Harris administration, I have a pretty good feeling on the statewide elections, because if in fact Harris ends up being the president, and let's hope that doesn't happen, but if it happens, we're going to have a good statewide team, in my opinion, that's going to take them on, sue them in court when they are wrong, take them on when they are violating our Constitution on all sorts of fronts.
Okay, so he's saying that even if Harris wins the presidential election, here in Indiana will be okay.
Yeah. My wife and I had this conversation the other night about this, and I said, it is what it is right now, right? I mean, it's just a continuation of what you have right now if they win, and that would be bad for the country, but it's not, it's not an instantaneous, we've fallen into the pit of the abyss. By the way, Joe Biden won, air quotes, Wisconsin by 20,608 votes in 2020. Okay, so if you're Trump, that means all you got to do is get 10,304 people to change, or 5 people to change your mind. Like, I always used to think about voting like that, like to simplify it and break it down. And I think sometimes we make voting or elections, I think we make them too complex. Like numbers. You got to know numbers. The voting and winning elections is about numbers. It's a math equation. And it's amazing. I'm as good at it as I was because I'm horrible at math. But you know numbers and you know data. And if you know numbers and you know data, you know where to find what you need to find. That's not that many people, right? I mean, it sounds like this gargantuan thing to flip Wisconsin. All he's got to find is, if you went by this, 10,305 people to change their mind and go, the country kind of sucks right now.
Well, that's what I think they're doing in Pennsylvania with the Amish community.
Well,
they're finding 80,000 people.
Well, like in Pennsylvania, Biden won, air quotes, by 81,660 votes. So what is that, 40,000, look at me doing public school math here off the top of my head. Basically 40,900 people you got to find to say, hey, the country sucks and I don't want that anymore. I mean, and then some people don't vote or whatever, but it sounds like this monumental task, but really, if you simplify it down, not all that hard.
Hammer's going to join us next. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
3:06 this afternoon on the Hammer and Nigel show. This is it. Election Day in America. All the coverage you can handle until 7 o'clock. It's the Hammer and Nigel show, 93 WIBC.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt.
If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-885-5444 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's 800-885-5444. 800-885-5444.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lung cancer care.
Don't want the worry of maintaining your furnace or air conditioner? Join B&W's Premier Club today. Visit bplusw.com/radio to learn more. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
There he is from the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel show, Jason Hammer in the studio. So you voted?
I did.
Tell me all about it.
I voted twice this morning,
Good
Casey.
for
It's
you.
beautiful. We call that polling in Illinois. No, my place that I've been going to for years on the southwest kind of side, the Lyndhurst Junior High Center, in and out. The longest I've ever had to wait in that joint is like 30 minutes. But we go pretty early. So we got there at 7 a.m., myself, the coupon lady, and Chris, and in, out, bada bing, bada boom. There weren't any goons on the outside.
As to some fat guy in a stained T-shirt verbally abuse you this time.
Yeah, Sloth and Frankenstein's love child was not out there this time. So
See, and this is the thing I told my wife last week, is it almost always goes much faster on Election Day.
Yeah.
And I told her we should just wait, and I heard it was like 30 minutes in and out in Brownsburg. I said we could have just gone on Election Day.
But I do see pictures, and people are tweeting at us, like I'm sure they're tweeting at you. Like Guy Relford sent a post. He's in a line at the Zionsville Library that looks like it's the Beast at Kings Island.
Wow.
Right? Like at this point, you are now 2 hours away.
Can we laugh at the media for a second? I mean, we're going to do it a lot tomorrow. They so desperately wanted, especially this governor's race and attorney general's race, to be some sort of super close thing, and the data is now showing these people are just full of it.
Oh, 100%. Locally and nationally. And sometimes, like, when you deal with dudes like Adam Wren, it's a crossover, right? So taking all these shots at Micah Beckwith and everything, all right, fine. But him and Politico, they so desperately wanted that comedian at the Donald Trump, Madison Square Garden rally to be like the biggest thing. They wanted that to be a thing so bad, but nobody really gave a damn.
Do you buy, because I have not seen any statistical evidence supporting this, do you buy that all these Puerto Rican people across the country were so offended by that, and now they've changed their vote, or they're out regretting their, because that's the narrative, right? Like Hinchcliffe tells this joke, and then all of a sudden all of these Hispanic people are just changing their vote.
Did any of these little butt sniffers like Adam and anybody else, were they this angry when Joe Biden went up there and said, you ain't black, or you can't go to a 7-Eleven without having an Indian accent? Because these are all things that happen, and we play this audio all the time. Seems like it's very selective when they talk about this kind of stuff.
What I don't get, and we're seeing it from people we usually don't see, like Abdul is in on it this time, and I don't get that because we normally don't see this from him. But he's basically just...
I think you do. You just haven't been paying attention.
Am I just naive because he's my friend?
Right.
You've been blinded by love.
See, here's the relationship that I have with Rob. And I feel like not only are we friends, but I kind of give you that big brother role. I tell you when to shut up when you're being a little witch or something that rhymes with it. And I can tell you when, he's always been kind of a lib. Like, he hangs out with the establishment butt sniffers because that's where his paycheck comes from. But I promise you, when he's going in there in that ballot, there's a lot of lefties on that thing.
Well, I mean, like the thing that he basically was, he goes on our show and says, it's Braun's going to win and Micah helped Braun. And then like the very next day he's out posting about how he thinks, the path to McCormick. And then when he get called out, he goes, I didn't say she was going to win. And it's like, what are you doing here? Like, I mean, you're just all over the map on all this. And they get 200 people down in New Albany with the governor of a neighboring state, and he's acting as though it was a Rolling Stones concert, bro. It's like, you're just basically cheerleading for these people at this point.
Well, and again, goes back to the selective media coverage, right? So, again, using him as the example, the self-proclaimed pencil neck from Politico puts out some tweet, last night in Michigan, Trump rally had open seats in the upper deck, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it started at midnight.
Right. They were there till 2:30 in the morning.
Conveniently left out of the post, mind you. And please tell me if Kamala Harris didn't have some sort of concert from Lady Gag Me or whoever else is on stage, what that crowd would look like.
I do wonder how many
and what happened to these people? Because you used to be friends with Pencil Neck, and you try to tell me...
I am still friends with him.
You
we
try
get
to tell
along
me all
fine.
the time, oh, he used to be a straight-laced guy. No, he's always been kind of a little weasel to us. And, okay.
You know, my theory is... Well, you're friends with Briggs, so I don't even want to hear about, like me having a liberal friend. But my thing is with reporters...
But you know as well as I do, I'm mean to everybody.
Well, that's true. No, you totally are. You totally are.
Have you seen the way I talk to my kids?
My deal is... Quote me correctly, spell my name right in the article. Like that's my standard. I do think the media in this country has more and more openly moved left. And like in Indiana, to me, I don't get what the win here was, because you're just going to end up looking silly. These people like Briggs and stuff who are like, oh, there's vibes for these. There's no vibe. Braun's a bad candidate, but Indiana's a 20+20 Republican state. You can't find a bigger boob than Diego Morales, and he won by 14 points 2 years ago.
And I heard you guys talking about this earlier. This station is number one, not just our show, your show. This station is number one because I think we're the only ones that call people out on both sides.
Yeah, we hate all people.
The lefties will always say, WIBC, they carry the Republicans' water.
Right-wing shock jocks.
Really?
Yeah.
Would Holcomb say that? Would Jefferson Shreve say that? The way Rob's gone after Rakita and Banks, would they say that?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
So tomorrow we're going to walk in here, and I think we all agree it's going to be a Republican ticket in Indiana. Who you got? Nationally. I'm sorry. Who you got nationally?
It comes down to Pennsylvania, right?
Really?
I think so. Donald Trump has to win either Pennsylvania, Michigan, or Wisconsin. Is it out of the realm of the possibility he gets swept in all three?
No, and this is my point. I think, when you don't control the vote count, and all of those states are Democrat governors, Democrat Secretary of State, and if he rolls in at midnight up 40,000 votes, they'll find those votes in any of those states. They will find those votes in any of those states. He's got to do like Youngkin did in 2021 in Virginia, which is crack the code. You got to be 7 up by the time Detroit starts rolling in, right? You got to be 7% up.
Well, the Democrats were saying they needed to be 500,000 up in early voting, and they weren't. They were 460.
Well, so this is my point, right, though? But if you can count votes 3 days later, and you can, you can church pews and mail-in ballots. And,
right. And why is it always the swing states that have a hard time counting?
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't it weird how that works out?
Indiana's done it 10.
Look at Florida. Look at all the big cities in Florida. They get it done on the same day, but apparently the fine folks in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia can't count.
10 seconds. What's coming up this afternoon?
Election coverage. Live till 7. Everything you need to know. We'll do some Delphi. We're going to have a lot of laughs. We're going to drink. It's election night, baby.
Thanks, Hammer.
Let's go.
Yeah. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Have you heard the saying, cash is king? This is true most of the time, but it's not when you're retired.
Hey, this is Rob.
And this is Casey.
When you're retired, cash is not king. Income is king.
Discover how you could turn your savings into a guaranteed stream of income in retirement with Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We trust Bill to help us with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
If you've saved more than $200,000, call Bill right now at 317-932-9912.
Social Security alone won't be enough to pay for your retirement. You need to create other sources of income that you can count on for the rest of your life.
Call Bill Demery now at 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912. Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy at 317-932-9912.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good?
Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet and Security Edge plus Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Unlimited Mobile. And ask how to get up to a $600 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 11/17/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabit per second internet, Security Edge, and Wi-Fi backup. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
Hey guys, it's Rob Kendall. Give back November 21st at Hi-Fi. Get tickets to a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. A night of community, Jack Daniels cocktails, and fighting food insecurity. Sample signature cocktails crafted by celebrity bartenders, all working to help raise $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving through the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Tickets start at $20 with all proceeds benefiting Moselle Sanders Foundation's mission to support families in need. Get tickets at hifiindy.com.
Reach your fitness goals in 2024 with the 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Donnie Burgess reports on what was said in the Delphi murders trial Monday, plus nearly halfway home on this election day. And it was a stressful night for the Butler Bulldogs. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
The polls are now open from Alaska to Maine. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Only Hawaii hasn't opened polls yet. In Oregon, they won't. It's all by mail there.
And the Trump campaign tells me the first 2 states they're going to be looking at are Georgia and North Carolina. Polls close in Georgia at 7 p.m. Eastern. They close in North Carolina 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Those 2 states will be the first bellwether they get to see how they're doing in these key battleground states.
Fox's Bill Malugin in West Palm Beach, Florida, where the former president will soon vote. He posted on Truth Social enthusiasm's through the roof, urging people to stay in line no matter how long it takes. Now, Pennsylvania is the biggest battleground of the 7 toss-up states. Fox's Jeff Manasso is there.
Voters lining up to cast their ballots here in Pittsburgh are divided on politics, though most of those that we talk to are confident.
I have high hopes. I'm not nervous, no. Turnout and what I'm seeing, I think we got this. We'll see what happens. I just don't know.
The question, did Donald Trump expand on gains in rural Pennsylvania, the counties surrounding Pittsburgh, Philly, and the middle part of the state? Or does Kamala Harris expand Democratic support around the suburbs?
Now, the vice president's campaign spokesman Michael Taylor tells Fox they are confident she can.
We think that if we perform strong, not only in the urban cores, but in these key suburban counties where you've had Republicans and independents increasingly move away from Donald Trump, we'll be successful tonight, and we'll be talking about President-elect Kamala Harris tomorrow morning.
Also on ballots today, abortion rights in 10 states and control of the next Congress. Democrats only need to win 6 seats to take the House majority, but Speaker Mike Johnson tells Fox he's confident Republicans will prevail.
The Hispanic and Latino vote is going to be historic this time. I think there's going to be a demographic shift.
Polls also have suggested Republicans could win the 2 Senate seats needed to take the majority there. The first polls will close about 8 hours from now, and Fox News Radio will have special live coverage starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time this evening. Check this station or foxnewsradio.com for updates. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Turnout appears to be strong. It's 67 and mostly cloudy downtown. Some sunshine, though. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Long lines this morning at polling locations on this election day. The candidates for governor made their closing arguments to you over the last few days. Republican Mike Braun is pleased with how his campaign has gone.
Really looking forward to the kind of kitchen table issues campaign we've run. So that's resonating, I think, across the state, and look forward to a good outcome.
He's taking on Democrat Jennifer McCormick and Libertarian Donald Rainwater. The polls are open until 6 p.m. local time, and you can still vote if you're in line at least by 6. The defense team for Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen showed more prison videos Monday. Donnie Burgess reports.
The jury had visible, strong reactions to seeing suspect Richard Allen at Westville Prison last year, covered in his own feces and smashing his head against a wall. Neuropsychologist Dr. Polly Westcott testified she believes Allen was not faking his psychosis and did experience a rapid decline while in solitary confinement. The defense plans to keep poking holes in the murder timeline and perhaps point the suspect finger at someone else. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Child solicitation charges for a man already accused of rape in Bloomington. Rodrigo Curiel is accused of sending explicit messages over Facebook Messenger to a 10-year-old girl in September. He's also facing charges of raping a woman that same month. Indiana National Guard Major General Dale Lyles will be retiring in January. Lyles was appointed in 2019 by Governor Eric Holcomb, who is also leaving office in January due to term limits. A stressful start to the college basketball season for the Butler Bulldogs.
I was very disappointed the way we played tonight. And I'm going to give Missouri State all the credit. I thought they defended us. They were physical. But we never adjusted.
Head coach Thad Matta, they beat Missouri State in 72-65, but they did so turning the ball over 19 times. The Dogs host Austin Peay on Friday. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, diamond lovers. Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. When it's this important, you want someone who knows exactly how to work with your budget. Not against it. Someone who knows you deserve a piece more beautiful than you've ever imagined. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've always sourced our diamonds and gemstones directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. So many in stock and ready to take home today. Create your dream engagement ring in 3 easy steps. Or pick a perfectly preset ring that's created by our in-house design team. Browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts for everyone in your life, from diamond and gemstone studs to must-have tennis bracelets and beautiful birthstone necklaces. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company is your go-to destination for fine jewelry. Visit shaneco.com and come in to see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Bee's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning and happy Election Day. It is Tuesday, November 5th. It's 5 minutes after 11 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Well, here it is. We've come to the climax of this historically expensive election cycle. The end is finally in sight. How much has this whole thing cost? Close to $16 billion. This is what Open Secrets has projected. And who is spending what? Well, according to FEC, Kamala Harris has spent $881 million and Donald Trump has spent $356 million.
Okay, isn't that staggering? And by the way, a lot of Kamala Harris's dollars coming from big money people. This idea that the Democrats are the party of the middle class or the working man or the little guy or whatever scam they're trying to scheme in the moment is ridiculous. She got colossal amounts of money from rich, liberal, elitist people. And like you said, almost, what is that, 2.5 to 1 or whatever? Her fundraising dwarfs Donald Trump's.
Elon Musk has spent over $100 million to boost Trump's campaign.
What do you think that is the equivalent of for us? What do you think $100 million is to Elon Musk? Like if you were to say that is X amount of dollars to you, what is his net worth?
Isn't he
240 billion? All right, let me do a little let me do a little public scoop.
100 million.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what has all of that money?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What is all of the money that Kamala Harris has spent? What has it gotten her? Honestly, it feels like she has sponsored a concert tour more than anything. When you look at everybody that she's had campaigning for her, Beyonce, Usher, Lady Gaga, Ricky Martin, Cardi B, J-Lo. The list just goes on and on. It's all these concerts. Lizzo is another one who showed up to entertain her crowds.
If he spent, sorry, I'm now fixated on this. You know how I get.
Yeah.
If he spent $100 million, now he's not liquidly he is not worth $200 billion, but let's just operate that he is for simplicity here. that would be 1/2000th of his net worth that he spent on this election. So I don't know, what is that? It's like if somebody told you could spend, I mean, you're a millionaire several times over, so I know the numbers don't extrapolate properly. But like if somebody told you, you can spend $2,000.
It's like $1 to him.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's it's equivalent of saying, here's $2,000. Like Casey, you can spend $2,000 and then you can dominate the national news cycle for basically 3 months for $2,000. Would you do it? Of course you would.
Yeah.
You get to go to rallies with Trump. You're on Rogan. I mean, it's like his name ID now is off the charts. Now he has a risk because if Trump loses, he's probably going to get cut out of a bunch of government stuff, which is how he makes his money. But
which is also part of the reason why he's saying how imperative it is you go out and vote. Clearly, he's got some scratch in the game.
One thing that makes me think, look, clearly he's probably done his own polling. He's not just taking Trump's word for it. Like, again, guy's not running a soup kitchen. He's got something he wants out of it. And I would guess that ahead of him supporting Trump and throughout this whole process, he has done his own surveying, whatever, and he knows the lay of the landscape that he's dealing with. But I could be totally wrong. Maybe he's just like, I'm so rich it doesn't matter.
What's interesting is that Donald Trump has outspent Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania. He spent $35 million. She has spent $30 million. And that's pretty much Arizona. He has spent more than she has. But everywhere else in all these other swing states, she is outspending him.
It all comes down, again, like we talked about last hour. If you're good at, there's a couple parts of the equation to be successful in politics, and people make this way, 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 way too complicated. But it's like the door hanger, right? It's like I tell these people, whether I ran my own campaign or help these other people defeat these referendums, no matter how much you get outspent, I said it doesn't matter. It's utilization of resources. And I said it's like the door hanger. You can get way more done with 3 bullet points than you can 50, right? It's how to maximize your resources. And the point with this is that these states are math equations, and you got to go find votes. You got to know the number you're looking for. Like at some point you pivot if you're doing your campaign right. At some point you pivot past finding votes and it's getting people to go vote. Like if your operation is done right, you think about it like a ship, right? Like the ship moves in one direction, and then at some point you can't just immediately turn the ship. You got to gradually, like a dinosaur or whatever, like a T-Rex. You got to turn the ship gradually. And so ideally, if you're still hunting for votes with a week to go, you're probably in trouble. I'm not in trouble in the sense you're going to lose, but you ideally, in an ideal world, you have found your votes, you know your number, and now it is turning the ship and getting those people to go to the polls. And what I don't know is if they found the votes or they're still hunting for votes, because ultimately it comes down to find those people, get them to go vote. Whether you're running for city council or you're running for president of the United States, find votes, secure votes, get people to the polls.
How do you turn the ship, though, when there's early voting and somebody has already voted? I'll give you an example of this. I voted on Friday, and there's a local state rep for Indiana who's running my district, right? And I voted for him. We've talked about him on the show. He's the guy.
Whitmer.
Your buddy Whitmer. He does pretty good with door knockers, right? His 3 points.
By the way, I heard from some people, I said my theory on the door knockers is unless you are a Broad Ripple 7 or above, do not put your photo on the mailer. And I heard from so many people about that is absolutely true, that there are so many unattractive people who choose to put their pictures on their mailers. And it's like, why would you? Like, think about it. When you get a one of those mailers for a realtor or whatever. Kev, you'll back me up on this. Kev's laughing because he knows this is true. When you get a mailer for a realtor and it's some smoke show, you're like, ooh, if I ever need to sell my house. Now, you do business with Mark Dietel because that's the sponsor of the Kendall and Casey show, and he's the best. But before you knew about Mark Dietel, you might be like, hey, Tina's reasonably well assembled.
It's aesthetically pleasing.
Thank you. Very good. Yes. Versus if the person looks like Rosie O'Donnell, right? I mean, so if you're, Rosie O'Donnell may be the better realtor, but Rosie O'Donnell's realtor should be about, I've sold X amount of houses and I've sold X amount in the area and I can deliver blah, blah, blah. Versus Tina's is like, hey, I got 2 reasons you should be using me as your realtor, and it has nothing to do with my selling ability, right? I mean, I feel like that with politicians too, that there are, let's see, who are the attractive members of the House of Representatives? You got that Luna
Paulina.
Mm-hmm. You got Boebert.
Yeah.
I mean, who else?
Who else?
I don't know.
You tell me. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
I don't notice people's appearances.
Of course not.
But that's what I'm trying to think. Like, who would we label a Broad Ripple 7 or above in the U.S. House of Representatives?
Would you put Marjorie Taylor Greene in that
Oh, no.
category?
No.
No,
I don't.
She works out, you know.
Yeah, she's too muscular for me. Like, I can't be with a woman who could body press me. You know, like, I can't do that. My point is, there's so few people that you see their photo and you're like, okay, that's a visually, same thing for men, right? Like, okay, who's attractive from a male perspective? Like, who is a good looking dude? Like Josh Hawley is a very physically fit. You can see his photo and be like, I could see where women would be like, oh, that guy's good looking. But like Jerry Nadler, right? You're voting for Jerry Nadler. You see him on a mailer.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
No. Okay.
Yeah. That's right. Somebody said in the chat, Nancy Mace. She's all right.
Right.
She'd be fine. Like, I don't know. I mean, are there any others?
Well, Kristi Noem, she's not in the House or Congress,
right?
But
If she were running for something, you would put her.
You'd
photo
put her in there.
up there. My point with Whitmer, though, is, and this is no offense against Whitmer, I would totally vote for him if I could. You are not that. That you should not have had your photo on that mailer. And I'm not. Look, I would not put my own photo on a mailer.
But how do you right the ship when somebody has already early voted, and then you start getting texts from the opposition on telling you why you should not vote for him?
Well,
it's too late.
It's a new frontier, right? And I'm not saying that I've been out of this political game for quite a while. And by the way, in the YouTube chat, Michael said, "Rob, are you saying Mark Dietel isn't a smoke show?" I'm saying Mark is a very handsome older gentleman. He has many beautiful kids. No doubt he played a role in that. It's a different game now. I mean, I've been out of politics in terms of the nuts and bolts of campaigning 8 years. I worked on a U.S. Senate campaign 8.5 years ago. So I don't know. And early voting really wasn't the thing that it is now. But you got to, my guess would be, I'm simplifying a very complex thing. Like I had a conversation last night with somebody with one of the statewide offices, and they were talking about their polling and their modeling and how it works, and it was very interesting to hear.
They do models like the hurricane watch people do.
And it makes sense. Like, you want to know how you're doing. You want to know, okay, in the worst case scenario, we're doing this. In the best case scenario, we're doing this. We're probably somewhere in the middle, which means we're probably, right here, right? But in terms of, I would guess, where it used to be, hey, 2 weeks out, go get everybody to go vote. Now it's, in an ideal world, a month out, and then you start, and every state's different. Every state's different. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying the successful campaigns, the ones that usually win, the faster you can turn it into a get out the vote operation versus a find a vote operation, the better you're more likely to do.
I'm sitting here thinking now of who is aesthetically pleasing politician.
There's not many of them.
Rand Paul's nice.
You think Rand Paul's attractive?
I do. J.D. Vance, he's a good-looking guy. You're not gonna like me for this one. Jim Banks.
Wait, time out. No, we got to come back to J.D. Have you ever seen J.D. Vance without his beard?
No.
He looks like the guy from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Okay, well, that's why he's doing the beard. He's
I know,
beard.
but I mean, that's like deception, right?
You also like RFK Jr.
Well,
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, he is a good-looking older guy.
He's an attractive
Have you seen that guy? I mean, he's
ripped,
pumping weights on the beach. You know,
that's right.
I mean, she looked like a dime store novel character there with him. There are not many aesthetically pleasing. See, Casey does this thing when she knows it's true where she starts laughing and she grits her teeth together because she knows she has no defense. I mean, it was like a Fabio novel there with you two together. But the point is,
You've said nothing about Jim Banks. I said he's a pretty attractive guy. Nothing?
Okay, here's the thing with Banks. Like, he used to be a military dude, right? But in these ads now, he's kind of like got dad pants on and his belt looks weird. And I mean, I think there was a time where Jim Banks was probably aesthetically pleasing. And he's so unpleasing with his voting record.
You know who else is very attractive in politics in Indiana? Who's a good-looking man? Is Micah Beckwith.
What?
Yes.
He looks like Seth MacFarlane.
That's That's good.
You think Seth MacFarlane's attractive? You've watched
He's got
Family
a full
Guy?
head of hair. He's thin.
You've watched Family Guy and said, "Boy, that Seth MacFarlane is one sexy you know what."
I didn't say sexy. I said aesthetically pleasing, and he's got a fantastic smile.
Well, Micah Beckwith is very friendly, and I told him the other day I think he's getting a little pudgy throughout this campaign. But
You did not.
Hi, I'm Rob Kendall. Have we met? No, my point is, though, I don't even know how we got on. This is our show, right? Somebody's listening to this on another state that works for another station. Like, these people are number one, really? But my point is, there's very few aesthetically pleasing people in politics because, let's face it, it's a nerd club. It's the guys girls who got stuffed into lockers in high school, and they're on a power trip now. So thus, the attractive people did not get stuffed into lockers when they were kids. I mean, AOC is aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, but you'd have to deal with that personality.
Well, right.
And that becomes unattractive.
I mean, are there any other Democrats that you would say are like aesthetically, like I'm trying to think of the House, the Senate. I mean, it's hard for me because I don't know people's appearances.
Sure. Well, during the break, you can pull up all their pictures, okay? It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Finally, a sports betting podcast for real dudes, not these male Kardashians that you see on television. The Degenerates Next Door Sports Betting Podcast. We do all the homework, we do it for free, and we don't wear skinny jeans.
The Degenerates Next Door. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Download today The Degenerates Next Door.
If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Guys, we're notorious for putting things off. But when it comes to plumbing problems, you don't have to live that way. If you're tired of taking showers with low water pressure or not enough hot water, you've got to stop putting it off and call Lance and the local team at LD Smith Plumbing and ask about water heater specials. These are the guys I trust in my house and in my friends' houses and my relatives' houses, and they're the licensed plumbers you want in your house too. LDSmithPlumbing.com. That's LDSmithPlumbing.com.
Tony Katz here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg, your premier gun store. Over 1,200 firearms in stock and the largest selection of used firearms in the area. Premier Arms is home of the Buy Room. This exclusive, private, and secure room is where Premier Arms will buy your estate or special collection of firearms and jewelry. Premier Arms and PA Jewelers, their one-of-a-kind jewelry store located in the same building, are the largest buyers of firearms, firearm collections, and estate jewelry in the Midwest. Talk to Premier Arms today, 3754 South Green Street, online at premierarms.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority, so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We've recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Well-changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Do you know someone with a drug or alcohol problem? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything. Stop the drug and alcohol nightmare. Are drug and alcohol problems hitting you too close to home? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything.
800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. That's 800-694-1127.
You're going to get fired.
Do I have to clean my search history?
Your search history is this was so dirty this break. Smoke show congressman, available congressman bachelors, congressman without shirt on.
Well, this guy, you want to see RFK Jr., this guy, he's like...
Yeah, she's like, come over here and get a look at this meat market.
Yeah, you're going to have to cool it over there.
And I was like, Casey, I'm not, like, why would I want to see that?
But he's not in Congress anymore.
Aaron Schock?
Aaron Schock from Illinois. Yeah, he's not there anymore. And you know who else has a really nice smile who's also not in Congress anymore?
Smile? That's what you're going for?
Of course, it's your best accessory.
Oh, I see.
Paul Ryan. Tall drink of water, nice big smile.
If you missed last segment, Casey and I got on a conversation about how few politicians in the Congress are aesthetically pleasing. And then we were talking about how if you're going to put your photo on any sort of piece of campaign, anything, you need to be, look, maybe standards vary. It's like the Olympics. The judging is subjective to the judge, maybe a broad ripple 6. But if you're not a 7, I would generally use a 7 or above as my guidepost. And there are very, 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 very few 7s and above in the in the elected U.S. government.
This is something from In Style magazine for 2020.
Right.
They actually have Kamala Harris on the list.
What?
Yeah. And also Pete Buttigieg as some of the top best. Cory Booker is also on this list, and I would agree with that. He's a good-looking guy. The politics are completely
we're not
off the rails.
We're talking about what I want to see this person's photo. I would have probably agreed that, but he's not in the government anymore. Adam Kinzinger is an aesthetically pleasing
when he's not
person.
crying.
Well, but that's why we're not talking about their actual views.
Okay.
It's like dating. You got to open that package and deal with that for yourself. I made that mistake for years and years and years and years, right? We're just talking about if you saw this person, would you want to engage and know them further? And there are just very few, who in Indiana, who is the most aesthetically pleasing statewide politician in across the state of Indiana? Who would it even be?
Statewide.
I'm saying state rep, senator, or governor, or any of those people. Rakita's a broad ripple 1, so he's out. Diego's not attractive.
That's so rude.
What?
I'm gonna have to go with Micah. I am.
He's not elected yet, though.
Oh, okay.
You're being pretty presumptuous. You're just declaring this thing over.
Well, we have been working on it for a while. So,
see, you can't think of one. That's my point.
I'm really trying to.
Right.
Stutzman, maybe.
Marlon?
Yeah.
No, I love Marlon, but he's not aesthetically pleasing.
Well, you said who's the best.
Well, but I'm trying to think, and he's about to be reelected, but he's not elected right now. I don't know, is Todd Young, as much as I loathe Todd Young, from just a pure aesthetic standpoint, he's together, he can probably do physically fit, sorts of things.
Oh, I know who it is.
Who?
It's Daniel Elliott.
Oh, yeah, you love Daniel Elliott.
Well, he's a nice guy.
He's a rugged horseman, and that's why you like...
He wears the cowboy boots.
You were swooning that day he was in here.
I wasn't swooning.
I thought we were going to have to put you in timeout or hit you with a fire extinguisher.
But he's nice and tall. He's got the full head of hair. He carries himself well.
But there's no, like, I'm trying to think, State House. There's no... Yeah. See, this is our Election Day show.
Probably more entertaining than going over numbers.
How many times? I mean, think about it. How many times can you go over or crack these stupid polling data or whatever? Isn't this pathetic? We've got 150 between the House and Senate. You got all these statewide. You got the Congress people.
Yeah.
And you can't. I mean, our governor looks like Colonel Sanders. I mean, like what?
Although they do have a really new cute puppy,
Well,
Ollie.
that does not make you aesthetically pleased. Think about that.
That's true.
What are we doing in this state where we don't have more visually appealing politicians?
That's what you need, huh?
Well, they're all going to screw me over anyway.
At least make it fun to watch.
Well, I mean, Anyway,
let's play this clip from Joe Scarborough.
Absolutely.
This happened yesterday. It's number 9, Kevin, and I thought it would give us an opportunity to all go around the room and sound off. So here's Joe Scarborough from MSNBC, and he's ripping on Trump supporters.
I will ask the question that I think is a fair question to ask. Who raised these people?
Yeah.
Because they were not raised by anybody in my neighborhoods that I grew up, any middle-class neighborhoods that I grew up in. These people were not there. They were not raised. I mean, they weren't in the classes I went to growing up in elementary or middle or high school or college. They just weren't there. That wasn't the America I grew up in, where people would laugh at the idea of people of the press getting shot. Like, everybody would sit around and like, what's he talking about? Or again,
laughing at the Puerto Rican
other
joke.
Things, laughing at the Puerto Rican joke.
Oh my God!
And Puerto Ricans are a pile of trash.
He's so offended.
A comedian told a joke, and everyone should be crushed.
So, Joe Scarborough, of course, nobody was like that, because you're talking about when you were in elementary or middle school. You're talking about the Reagan years. Okay.
Well, isn't there an allegation too? Remember when Trump was like, Scarborough might have killed his intern. Don't know.
Yeah.
She died mysteriously. Don't know what happened there.
So he asked, the question is,
intern, whatever it was.
Who are these people? Where are they coming from? And who raised them? I'll go first.
Yes.
Casey Daniels, coming from Indianapolis, Indiana, raised by Marianne and Len in Centerville, Ohio.
Oh, how exciting.
Go ahead.
Well, you know me, Rob Kendall, townie lifer, most beloved son of Brownsburg, Indiana, raised by a pack of wolves. And Cav, your turn.
Who are you?
Oh, yeah, my name's Kevin, and
Where you
just raised on the south side of Indianapolis.
I've met Kevin's parents.
They are so sweet.
You've met Kevin's parents.
Yes.
How did Kevin's parents raise Kevin? See, I mean, think about that. Kevin's parents are just the sweetest, most nicest people, and then there's Kevin.
Oh, Kevin's nice.
And then there's Kevin.
Do you want to say their names?
That sounded backhanded.
He doesn't want to say their names.
He doesn't want to lump them in with him.
Do you notice that?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
He's keeping it separate. Worlds colliding, Kevin. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Watching and waiting. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. That's all the presidential candidates can do at this point.
Harris supporters are waiting to get inside Howard University, where there's going to be an election watch party for the vice president tonight. But her campaign admits that this race is incredibly close, and it's certainly possible that the race won't even be decided for several days. Still, the vice president's team says they believe they have multiple paths to victory, reaching that 270 magic number. They say they're seeing some strength in the Sun Belt states, places like Georgia and North Carolina.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Donald Trump will be watching from Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Hoosiers like this man standing in line to vote today.
The length of the line at 6:30 in the morning. It's good. I'm very happy that people are voting.
The polls opened at 6 a.m. and they'll close at 6 p.m. local time tonight. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Man, listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house. Place a mess.
I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-626-5252. 800-626-5252. 800-626-5252.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. It is, what is today? Monday, Tuesday. It's Tuesday. That means Sunday's going to be here before you. It's election day. How did I not know what day it was? Sunday's going to be here before you know it. And this Sunday, if you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home, check out the place we call home, Life Church. Man, we love Life Church. They're warm. They're welcoming. They'd love the opportunity this Sunday to meet and welcome you and your family. Many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church over the years. Find out why for yourself. They got campuses in Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus awesome online services, which you can watch from the comfort of your own home. Learn more about everything at lifechurchin.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority, so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
BW HVAC Plumbing and Electrical is here to make the fall cozy, comfortable, and hassle-free. Go to bplusw.com/radio to schedule your appointment today. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You are still trying to find an attractive person in Indiana government. I cannot believe how obsessed you are with this.
Don't blame this on me. You brought the subject.
Well, I brought the topic up in fun.
Yeah.
So if you missed this part of the hour, I mean, look, it's election day, and we could just keep cracking numbers for you in these swing states or whatever. We just thought we were going to have some fun. I know it's going to take the whole show, but Casey's a very vain person, and so people's looks now consume her existence.
I'm the vain one, even though you're the one who brought up the topic.
Well, I brought up something from in the standpoint. Now, see, this is what you do. I bring up something in an educational format, which is helping people who are running for public office and how to create or craft a good yard sign or mailer or door hanger. And I said that you need to play to your strength.
Right.
And if you're a aesthetically unappealing person, you should not put your photo on the stuff, and then you have been obsessed. I mean, you're looking at men with their shirts off, this shock guy. You're like, Mama likey. And then...
well, he's not even in office anymore.
I know, but
so
then you've been
count.
desperately trying to find somebody. Now, a state rep, a sitting state rep, did text me and said the most visually appealing person in Indiana state government is Elise Nishala, the comptroller.
Okay.
Now, that was not my words.
Right.
And this was a female state rep texted me that. So... it appears we're going to have some sort of Mexican standoff between Elise Nishala and your governmental crush, Daniel Elliott, and we'll see who...
You should do a poll on Twitter.
We should do that.
Put all their names on
We
there.
should do that. I will do that.
Should
Once we get off the...
brackets or
we get off
something
done
like
with this
that.
segment, I'll put it up there to see who they decide is the most aesthetically pleasing. Are we down... Is that what we're down to? We're down to Daniel Elliott and Elise Nishala? I mean, I can't think of any state reps that you're like...
Yeah.
Who? Okay, from a woman perspective.
Yeah, because Banks won't count because he's running for Senate.
Yeah, but
Young
he is.
doesn't count.
But he's
senator.
currently a U.S. rep, so he would qualify. Do you think Banks is better looking than Daniel Elliott?
Well, I can't believe you're asking.
What? Well, I got to put this on the poll. Who do you want me to list?
You know what? I haven't seen Daniel Elliott in person in a while.
What do you think? He got chubby?
I don't know.
You think he's just been letting himself go?
I don't know.
You act like it was the Stone Age, like the Carter administration.
Don't you understand? This is just my way of inviting him back into the station. I don't know. He hasn't been in a while, Rob. We better have him in.
Anyway, all right. Well, I'll put that up on Twitter once we go to the break.
Okay. Well, in between his 4 rallies yesterday, Donald Trump also did an interview with Bill Belichick. Did you know this is something you may...
I love this.
Okay, Bill Belichick, he's got a podcast. Of course he does, like everybody else. And they were talking about Caitlin Clark. So this is Donald Trump's take on Caitlin Clark. It's number 7, Kevin.
Well, you'd like to do that, but it's a very complicated thing. You know, it's a very unusual. She's incredible, by the way. And I watched too. I think she's incredible. The shot, you know, I watched the shot go in. All it's like, couldn't she shoot that way in the NBA? If you want to know, just give her the ball. She is unbelievable. And it's a phenomena. It's something that is taking place, and it's unusual. You know, Tiger, when he first went out, remember those days when Tiger went out?
So they were discussing equal pay with Caitlin Clark.
All right, when we come back, we're going to break down one last time before we get the results tonight, how the early voting broke down, how the Republicans are doing in Indiana. We'll make some predictions for the evening, and Casey's going to need a cold shower.
It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
.306 this afternoon on the Hammer and Nigel show. This is it. Election Day in America. All the coverage you can handle until 7 o'clock. It's the Hammer and Nigel show, 93 WIBC.
As the leaves turn golden and the air grows crisp, there's something special brewing, something that captures the very essence of fall. Introducing Pumpkin Something, a smooth, spice-filled bourbon infused with the perfect mixture of allspice, pumpkin, clove, cinnamon, and ginger. It's the taste of autumn in a glass, a sip of warmth on a cool evening. Crafted with care and precision at Hotel Tango Distillery. Known for its commitment to quality and innovation, this new blend promises a unique tasting experience that celebrates the essence of fall. Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery is guaranteed to elevate any fall cocktail. Add it to your warm cider in the evening or to your fall lattes. You can do anything with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery. Available for a limited time only. Visit your local liquor store and bring home the taste of fall with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery, because autumn never tasted so good. Sip responsibly.
Looking for a great place to go for car care?
Hi, this is Lonnie Hinkle from Jiffy Lube, and I'd like to share the top 5 reasons that every Hoosier should trust Jiffy Lube to help keep their car running safe and well. Number 5, our computer system holds the maintenance data for every make and model. We know exactly what your car needs and when it needs to be done. Number 4, Jiffy Lube's training system is in the Training Magazine Hall of Fame. Along with companies like Ritz-Carlton, Starbucks, and Nordstrom's, our team does the job right. Number 3, you never need an appointment. We're are ready to serve you whenever it works best for you, so come on in and see us. Number 2, Jiffy Lube accepts competitor coupons so you can get our great service at the desperate price of our competitors. And number 1, Jiffy Lube is a one-stop maintenance shop, and we make it easy for you to take great care of your car. Avoid the repair shop by getting your maintenance done at Jiffy Lube. And we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores.
So head to Jiffy Lube. There's really no reason to take your car anywhere else.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, with leading-edge treatment options right in your backyard.
I feel blessed and lucky. If I knew someone that was going through what I was going through, I would definitely encourage them to participate in a clinical trial. For me, it was life-changing.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, we made it, Casey.
Yeah, we did. It's been a long road, too, Rob.
Election day is here. We've kind of spent the day going over some of the numbers locally here in the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
It does appear kind of the takeaway, we talked about that graph earlier, that while overall the percentage of Republican early votes is up, which is good if you're a Micah Beckwith and Mike Braun, or you're a Rokita or whoever, there is no doubt the suburbs are, because of the mass irresponsible growth by these mayors and city and town councils, is bluing. I mean, it will not be that much longer until they start winning, Democrats start regularly winning elections in the suburbs.
Yeah, and it's interesting about the urban turnout has been low, which is the exact opposite of what Abdul had reported earlier last week that he thought was playing a part in all of this.
Now, did he make up his mind? Because remember, he came on our show and said he thought Braun was going to win, and then he put out a big piece about Jennifer McCormick and then tried to say, I didn't say she was going to win. So it seems like Abdul's kind of all over the map this year.
Well, it's interesting because when he mentioned that, I did say, I think maybe you haven't left the Indianapolis bubble, and, the rural vote is getting out, and he wanted to say that, people in Fort Wayne and everything were really going to determine the vote, but he was considering...
He wanted that. No.
He was considering Fort Wayne and South Bend and Evansville urban areas.
Time out. No. He wanted that to happen because he wants Jennifer McCormick to win. He wants Destiny Wells to win. We got to be clear about this.
Yeah.
Nothing he has said throughout this election cycle has come to fruition. We have told you what was going to happen, and it has happened. And we told you that the data is now backing it up, how it's going to go. He wanted that to happen. There was not a shred of evidence that was going to happen, and it hasn't. I didn't mean to cut you off. We got to be very clear with this, that he was basing that on nothing other than pulling it out of his backside.
Well, I just wanted to mention it because by all indications, the urban vote has been down and the rural vote has been up, which is a help to Braun and Beckwith and Todd Rokita and Jim Banksy.
Yeah, so if you look at, and we got into this earlier in the show, so far, these are Republican primary voters, which is what they're basing this off of. Anybody could vote for anybody, obviously. but there have been 797,765 as of this morning, I believe, Republican primary voters cast a ballot. That's 56.2% of the populace. Compare that to 2020. Now, there were more Republican voters because the mail-in stuff was encouraged, et cetera, but it was only 52.6% of the overall votes cast were Republican. Democrats are at 34% this year, or 482,134. And by comparison, in 2020, they were at 32.8%. So you've basically seen Republicans do a little bit better than Democrats, but by and large, it is what it is. Indiana's a Republican state. And by the way, did you notice, and I know we got at this earlier, did you notice how on the eve of the election, it now switched from Democrat vibes, Democrats could pull it off, Democrats are surging to, maybe we'll win Hamilton County.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
I did notice that.
The pivot?
And of course, you pointed that out as well. So you're going into the election night party event with the GOP pretty confident, aren't you?
Well, look, I want to be clear about this. I am not doing somersaults over most of these people being in public office, right? Like we talked about, I did not vote for Jim Banks because he refused to debate. You want to know a Republican Indiana is? A guy who basically never campaigned is going to win 60-ish% of the vote as a U.S. Senator. He never basically didn't campaign. He ran some TV ads. He didn't debate. And he's going to be rewarded. That's how Republican the state is. Trump, probably same-ish thing. We talked about voting for Rokita. I think you're kind of in the same boat I am, which is that was a vote against Destiny Wells.
Correct.
She's so horrific. I mean, that's how horrific Destiny Wells is that Rob Kendall was like, well, I got to vote for Rokita, right? I mean, that, and look, I do this with the full understanding Rokita. There's a likelihood Rokita's going to face further disciplinary action from the disciplinary commission. He's not very good at his job. But as we talked about, if you're going to force me, I have two political animals, which Rokita is and Destiny Wells is, and one political animal is pro-life and pro-liberty and isn't going to do the job the way I want, but he's on my politics.
Yeah.
Why would I let the other person get in there who is going to be exactly the same but with different politics?
Yeah. I ended up voting for two people, leaving one blank, and then voting against someone. So that was a pretty interesting ballot.
So, yeah, and again, the one that'll be interesting is the governor's race, not whether Braun wins or not, but by how much. Starting to hear from more and more people who think it still could end up being a double-digit win for Braun. I'm not saying it is. I still think that 5 to 8% is the most likely area, but it could be. I mean, when you look at these numbers, and like you said, the rural numbers are coming in very, very strong. I was talking to J.D. Prescott earlier. He's a largely rural district state rep, and he said, they're outstanding. I've heard from other people that they're outstanding. You could see Braun end up winning by double digits, which will mean all of these people in the media are full of crap.
Well, it's wishful propagandizing. Is that a word?
Here's what's interesting, though, and this is what we got to keep an eye on. So let's look at the suburbs, shall we? Let's look at like Hamilton County. And this is when you talk about irresponsible mass growth of these communities, Soviet block-style apartments, this is what you get. So 2020, Democrats early voted 31,286 votes in Hamilton County, which was 22% of the electorate.
Yeah.
This year, they're at 35,960, or 32.8. They've added 10.5%. Republicans, on the other hand, they were at 88,758 in 2020, 62.8%. Now down to 55,019, 50.2%. Now, is that going to alter the outcome of elections? No. Statewide, certainly not. But when you're talking school board races, certainly, where people don't have to declare these party affiliations, when you're talking about some of these city council races or county council, this is where you'll start to see. And this is why I don't understand why these mayors and city councils in these Hamilton County communities are obsessed with how many homes, how many apartments can we jam in this place, because the people moving in do not share your views. I don't get it.
Well, it will be interesting to see. I think there's definitely some change going on in the state of Indiana. A lot of people are very hopeful because they are sick of the uniparty rule in the state. However, I don't believe that they've done enough to make a big change, at least not in the governor's race this year. And 2020,
you really got to throw a lot of those markers out because 2020 was such a different election than what we had even in 2016.
Well, here's another example. So let's take Hendricks County, another place with, Warehouseburg, where I live over there on the west side. If you're a high-density single-family housing development, come on in, right? Like it's on every street corner now. Democrats made up in Hendricks County 21.7% of the early votes cast in 2020. Republicans 67.2%. It is now 26.2%, or a 4.5% increase for Democrats. Republicans now 61.1%, or down 6% of the vote. Now, again, it's not going to alter whether Mike Braun is the governor or not. It's not going to alter whether Todd Rokita is the governor or not. But you start losing, and we've seen Avon has a Democrat council member now. Brownsburg has a Democrat council member. I do not. I would love an explanation on why these people think it's great to keep packing as many people into our towns who do not agree with us. Why would you do that? Nobody has ever offered me an explanation on why you would do that.
Well, I believe Eric Holcomb would say it's economic development to bring all these businesses in.
But I'm not talking about business.
People that will work there.
They
got to live someplace.
Okay, so you and I are going to the Shindig tonight, right? There's a big party downtown. We our new friends at the Republican Party.
Our new friends. Hors d'oeuvres start at 6:30, Rob.
Where is this at?
Cash bar.
Where's this even at? Where are we going? I'll look at it right before I go. Where
where it's...
Where am I going?
It's the JW Marriott.
The Taylor Swift.
And I want to take a picture of you walking in with Taylor Swift looking down upon you.
So we'll do that tonight, and hopefully they'll have this thing declared by 7:30 or 8 so I can skedoodle on out of there and go home. Because I hate to leave my house.
But we'll be doing some Twitter action later on after the party too.
Yeah. All right.
Good luck. You got to. It's your job.
Good luck with your votes, and we'll see you tomorrow one way or another.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Have you heard the saying, cash is king? This is true most of the time, but it's not when you're retired.
Hey, this is Rob.
And this is Casey.
When you're retired, cash is not king. Income is king.
Discover how you could turn your savings into a guaranteed stream of income in retirement with Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We trust Bill to help us with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
If you've saved more than $200,000, call Bill right now at 317-932-9912.
Social Security alone won't be enough to pay for your retirement. You need to create other sources of income that you can count on for the rest of your life.
Call Bill Demery now at 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912. Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy at 317-932-9912.
As summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-494-5004 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics